Yeah, it would be the cowbells and then.
Welcome on in, everybody, to the AZ Wildcats podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. And Kevin, I'm a little bit extra fired up today because it is another Arizona Wildcats game day. The Wildcats take on Weber State in just a few moments here at 7 p.m. Kevin, we're going to get the people all ready and primed up to watch the Week 2 matchup for Arizona here. We're going to talk injuries. We're going to talk, our score predictions, how our bets from Friday's show are doing. But we'd be remiss if we didn't start where the big news is. What, a little trouble in paradise action going on?
Can I start this one off, Damon?
Please.
I tried to tell you guys. I really did. I tried my damnedest to come on this show, be my honest self, and give the takes that I feel right here in my little heart.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And my take that I felt was that ASU, overrated, had a not good performance against NAU. I put them 8th in the power rankings, and it feels like they're about the 8th best team in the conference right now. I don't know how you feel, but I don't know. People call me all types of stuff for saying that.
You were being publicly flogged for your take that ASU was a mid-tier Big 12 conference team, and one half into their first real game of the season, and things are not looking so good. I mean, this is what I'll say. I think the writing's on the wall a little bit when you look at the line, and it's a bad SEC team versus a team that made the playoff, number 12 team in the country, and it's only 6.5. You look at who's at home, you start piecing things together, and you go, there's something fishy about this line. I think they're trying to tell us that Mississippi State is going to make this one a game. And not only that, I mean, Mississippi State is taking control of this one. But I heard from Shane Diefenbach, ASU gets ball at half. So things are not over.
Far from over, actually.
But it is fun to laugh. The once infallible Sun Devils are certainly look all of a sudden like they got a couple bullet holes in them.
Yeah, Sam Levitt, what's that smell? It smells like you miss a little bit of Scataboo. You know what I mean? And that's all I'm saying. But no, yeah, like we said, there's a lot of game left down there.
It's not Scat's cologne, that's for sure.
No, it's not. It smells like a different kind of scat, if you get what I'm saying. And I think, like the amount of hotels in Starksville does not matter. What matters is the performance that's on the field. And right now, as of the first half, Mississippi State was putting it on them. Now, like we said, there's a lot of football left. Arizona State could completely still win this football game, but the expectations, they have been checked. And we've been talking about this all week, you and I, Damon. You'll tell me like, hey, we're both rooting for, we're all dogs this week. We are all Bulldogs this week. Company-wise, it'd be not bad if ASU won any football game at any time, right? But I've been saying this. My reaction to it is sometimes people just got to be humbled. You know what I mean? Like pride comes before the fall, and that's all I want to say on that.
I'm not a listen, Kevin. One thing about me, I'm not a company man. It might be good for the company, but I'm all about me. And I'm all
the
about
rivalry
my cats.
does come first. The feelings of the rivalry do come first.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's more of like an afterthought of like, oh, that's helpful for our bottom line, but also like I don't give a damn. I want to hear them cowbells loud and proud is what I want to hear tonight. But we have a game.
More cowbell.
We have to own the night, Damon. We do have an actual Arizona football game to talk about. We are not just here to talk about our rivals. We are here to preview the matchup between Arizona and Weber State. Now, most of these pregame shows, Damon, you and I are going to be talking a lot of X's and O's, a lot of what Arizona needs to do to win the football game at hand, how the football game could potentially impact them in the conference. And our evaluations of them as a team and as a roster, but this game against Weber State does not have that same effect, right? This game against Weber State, we are here on this pregame show pretty much to tell you how bad we think Arizona is going to beat Weber State and how they could accomplish that goal, right, Damon? And I think we were talking to Justin Spears this week about the availability of certain players and how this strength and conditioning staff is a lot more cautious with bringing guys back than past staffs. You know, if you don't have to bring a guy back, they're not going to force him back. And we do have some players, courtesy of our guy Justin Spears, to keep an eye on. We don't have any actual injury reports or updates officially yet, as we are not in conference play. But some players that Spears told me to keep an eye on in terms of their availability are Damon,
Tapo Totai,
bang, Kean Burnett, MGK, and Riley Wilson were the names that I was given from our guy Justin Spears, just to keep an eye on their availability. No, nothing reported in terms of actual injuries or estimated times of return or time missed, but just keep an eye on those guys.
Yeah, I absolutely love to see these guys maybe just get their feet wet, as I said to Justin Spears when we were talking to him earlier in the week. Like, I think that this can be used, this Weber State game in particular, as somewhat of a dress rehearsal type preseason game. Where, you know, they throw the starters out there for a quarter, a half, and kind of just let them get some playing time and just kind of rev up for the season. So Arizona has a big game against Kansas State, the week after. And, you know, there's a lot on the line in that game. Kansas State, again, not with the most inspiring of performances. They're in a one touchdown game with Army right now. They're up 21-14. Army has the ball in the fourth quarter, and Army lost to Tarleton State earlier this year, Kevin. So Kansas State is reeling. You can take advantage of them. And, you know, I'd like to see a guy, you know, if Rhino Tapatotai is going to get starting caliber offensive line snaps, I'd love to see him get some snaps in this game. Same with guys like Traden Stukes, Riley Wilson, MGK, you name it. Like, I just think that this is a good opportunity for them to get out there, see a little bit of you know, game experience in 2025, because I'm sure for most of them it's been, you know, months since they've seen live action in football. And then, of course, you know, take them out as soon as anything. You know, you don't want to push them too hard. This is more of just like a kind of a gearing up situation.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And this is kind of not really a get right game, but more of a tune-up game, more of like maintaining your car every certain couple of miles, just to make sure you know what you got in the tank going forward, right? And I think this is kind of the next, I guess technically 4 weeks, because we don't have a game as of next week, but the next couple weeks for the Arizona Wildcats are a real barometer time period for this program. Where are you at? Where have the changes that you have made gotten you to this point? Are you better than a team like K-State this year, which I know that they're sputtering, they're struggling, they're not good out of the gate, but that is still a quality football team, and a win over them would not be nothing. And I think that, you know, if you can go and beat a K-State who's coming into Tucson, that is a huge statement to the rest of the conference that, hey, Arizona's here to compete. Obviously, K-State is struggling, but Arizona can compete in this conference, because K-State, while struggling still, I've said it multiple times now, they're still not one of the worst teams in the conference talent-wise, right?
Yeah.
And so that is a big win. You have Iowa State coming up right after that. If you can, I mean, I'm not picking Arizona right now to beat Iowa State, but if you can beat Iowa State, like, now we're talking crazy stuff.
Now we're talking, how does Arizona, you know, continue this and win the conference somehow?
Can Arizona keep Brent Brennan in Tucson, or is he destined for Alabama after Kalen DeBoer's firing? I'm joking, but like, I say all that to say, like, we will know exactly what we have with this year's Arizona Wildcats in short order. This game against Weber State might not get us there, but we're inching closer to that K-State game. We're inching closer to that stretch against Iowa State, where after that, I feel we will be very confident in our evaluations of this team, because we will have seen them against a wide variety of competition, from the Hawaiis, the Weber States, back up to the K-States, and even higher to the ISUs, right? So, yeah,
absolutely.
big time for the Arizona Wildcats football program.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Kevin, we do, in fact, part of the reason we don't have full injury updates so close to the, you know, allotted kickoff time is in part because there is some weather snafus, I should say, going on right now in terms of lightning potentially in the area. We got, Arizona Athletics here tweeting, due to lightning in the area, we ask that all fans please exit the seating bowl and seek shelter. We thank you for your cooperation, and we will have an update in 30 minutes. Our guy, Justin Spears, is out there and says that the handful of people at Arizona Stadium, an hour and a half prior to kickoff, were asked to move to the covered concourse due to lightning in the area, and we're about an hour away. That was about an hour away from kickoff.
I have an update. 31 seconds ago, Arizona Athletics has tweeted and they said, "We remain in a weather delay and will provide updates when they become available." So we are delayed right now. As of right now.
And
hang out with us.
Potentially, might be looking at a little bit of an extra late night, especially for the folks here who work doing post-game shows covering the team. But all good. This is what we love.
We do it for you people.
We definitely do it for you people. As I look on my phone and try to, I'm trying to see some like nice like cells going over. Like, what are we talking here?
Yeah. We need like the what was it? Monday or Thursday Night Football?
Here on you're right here back behind me on the screen. We got some cells moving up through the southeast through Sierra Vista.
Now throwing to Damon Fairall with a live weather report. But yeah, no, it is unfortunate, especially because this is a game that if the weather is permitting, Arizona should really, really give the fans that do show up a show. And it'd be unfortunate if this game got pushed so far that some people can't go or whatnot, whatever. But it does give a lot of Arizona fans more time to hate watch this ASU game and not have to worry about, do I have two screens? Do I go quad view, multi-view? What do I do? You can just pay attention to one game and watch as our rivals unfold, hopefully. But yeah, the weather update is unfortunate, Damon, but that is the latest at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kevin, we talked about it throughout the week, but why don't we go ahead and put it on screen here? Let's look at the matchup battles from Arizona versus Weber State. And as we talked about, definitely feels like this one is about as lopsided as it can get. The Wildcats of Arizona, not of Weber State, have the advantage in every single category. And, this isn't like ASU versus Mississippi State, the PHNX Sun Devils guys doing this like with, the most bias you possibly could. This is legitimate Arizona, Weber State right here. Basing off of our one game that we've seen from Weber State against James Madison, the Weber State Wildcats didn't look so great. Kevin, could we pull up that, just kind of the game stats there from that game? James Madison won 45-10. You see here about 150 yards of total offense from Weber State, passing and rushing, and did so while vastly winning the penalty battle as well, which in part is because they don't have possession, as Kevin mentioned when we talked about it during the week, but pure domination from James Madison's perspective. Expect more of the same from the Arizona Wildcats.
Expect more of the same and expect it to come via the ground. You know what I mean? I know Nova Fida should look great tonight. I almost said today, but tonight. But I think the run game is going to be featured, and I think you're going to see multiple backs look really, really strong tonight. I know we questioned the availability of an Ishmael Mahdi, and not from an injury standpoint, but more so why was he not made more available last week? And it's just because the two guys ahead of him were just so damn good. I anticipate us to see a little bit more Ishmael Mahdi in this one, just so the coaching staff can get a better idea of what they have in an Ishmael Mahdi, especially against a team the caliber of Weber State. You should be able to feature Ishmael Mahdi and really get a good idea of what kind of playmaking, to quote himself, the home run ability that he has in his bag. And I think that when you talk about the matchup battles, Damon, you and I talked about this off air. There's going to be so many weeks where Arizona is on the losing side of the matchup battle. There's going to be so many weeks where it's close on so many accounts and on so many of those different categories. This week was an easy layup. And I think if Arizona was not, stronger than Weber State in almost all those categories, we'd have a lot more concerns this season in terms of Arizona's ability and how viable it is to actually go out and make a bowl game. This is a situation where Arizona is better than this team on all levels. You are the more talented, deeper roster than Weber State, and you have to go play like it when the weather does permit, Damon. And I think, talking about this, dating back to 2021 when Arizona lost to NAU by just a mere 2 points, Arizona has defeated 3 straight FCS opponents, and we're talking about paying to play, Damon. Weber State has made almost $1 million in the last 2 weeks to get these whoopings, and hopefully Arizona is not in a situation where they're paying someone to come in and get an upset on their home field. So, yeah, this should be a situation where Arizona pays a team to come in and make them look really good.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a game that you can't have any nonsense with, and you just got to take care of business and beat a team that you're just straight up better than. You say that 3 straight games won versus FCS opponents. It's probably one of the worst streaks, frankly.
It is
in the entire country.
No, it is. Yeah, it is. It's probably one of the lesser ones that
It's a
don't.
very bad thing.
It is a very bad thing, but I'm more so saying like outside of one like exigent circumstance, you have been handling business when you're asked to handle business against lesser opponents, and you can only handle the 3 times you played them since that time. So yeah, not the longest streak, not an impressive streak. In fact, not a good streak. But I do think it shows that outside of a circumstance that literally lit the fan base aflame with the NAU loss, Arizona handles business against these teams.
All right, Kevin, where do you want to go from here? I see you got some more fun facts for us. You also have your keys to the game, which, of course, is not news to anybody if you watch our show during the week, but we'll recap them before tonight's game.
Let's talk more about the run game. We were mentioning how Arizona's going to get it done on the ground today. James Madison, you alluded to the dominance they had. 313 yards on the ground for their 6 touchdowns coming from the run game. Pardon me. And Noah Fafita, as we look at my keys to the game here, Noah Fafita is got to be efficient today. 60% or better is the floor, the absolute floor. Damon and I talked about it on yesterday's show.
Yeah, that's not up there. That number's higher for me.
If he's not up there in that 75, 70 range, then we're talking a little bit of a different conversation. But just some quick notes on Noah Fafita historically for the University of Arizona. He currently ranks 6th in program history with 6,116 career passing yards, just 203 yards away actually, to pass Khalil Tate for 5th all time. And then he ranks 6th, or he is tied 6th at Arizona with 45 touchdown passes. Just 1 touchdown pass shy of a tie for 5th with Tom Tunnicliffe, and 4 shy of a tie for 4th with our boy Solomon there as well. So, yeah, Noah Fafita, one of the program's greatest, and hopefully tonight he inches one step closer to, etching his name one step higher in the record books in a couple different record slots.
Yeah, definitely one of the all-time quarterbacks in program history. Not quite like that Nick Foles level, but at least since I started watching, I think you got to put him right underneath. And I figure we're going to hear a lot more about Noah Fafita's accolades throughout the remainder of the year here.
Yeah, and then the third and final key to victory today, you must dominate defensively. This cannot even be a question. Weber State should not be able to find any sustained level of success in this football game. I want to see turnovers. I want to see sacks. And really, I got into someone on Twitter about this yesterday, Damon. I know I put these 4+ numbers there, but it's less about the numbers and more about the way it looks, right?
Yeah.
I don't need all these sacks, all these turnovers. I need disruption. I need you to create chaos and create opportunities for mistakes to be made, whether they're actually made or not, right? That's what I want to see. Defensive dominance, no Fafita looking surgical as long as he is out there, and then the run game being the real bell cow for today, more cowbells, but being the real front runner today for Arizona's offense. Those are my 3 keys, Damon.
Yeah, we've been talking about it all week. Show me some sacks. Show me some high-level yards per carry. Show me efficient offense out of Noah Fafita. I'm with it. I'm with you on all 3 of those keys. I think those would be the main 3 things that I want to see as well. Regarding Noah Fafita, we talked about it. Like, just go out there and just be surgical. Leave no doubt. Don't have the Sam Levitt performance last week or
today,
but this is against a legit team, so I'll at least give him a little bit of credit. But don't go out against a Big Sky team and start throwing arm punts. It's unacceptable. We need efficient offense, accurate throws, just clean football. Keep it clean. Let's see some of those wide receiver weapons, some of the young guys, get some of the young players involved, and perhaps probably the best opportunity for these guys to get good, solid playing time throughout the entire course of the season. And should be just an absolutely easy blowout win for the Wildcats. And all 3 of these things really should happen. Like, it shouldn't be a case where we're coming into the show being like, well, only 1 of the 3 happened or only 2 of the 3 happened. Like I think we need to see all 3 today tangibly to feel comfortable going into a big game versus Kansas State next week. But Kevin, we do have some bets that we put here on our show, on our person. We have to wear them, and unfortunately, I have to wear UCLA because they are getting absolutely dog walked right now by UNLV. Embarrassing stuff. 23-0 UNLV right before halftime. Looks like UCLA might score right here, right before half, but that's a brutal one. That UCLA money line isn't going to hit. My other bet being my main lock that I chose, I will have you know, being Oregon minus 27.5 versus Oklahoma State. Perhaps the easiest winner of the entire college football season so far this year. Oklahoma State is pure and utter garbage. I mean, they are awful, straight up. And Arizona should beat the brakes off of Oklahoma State if they're in any way serious. And then Arizona minus 32.5 being my third one. Need a blowout from the Cats tonight versus Weber State. But Kevin, I'll throw you an extra one just for the game special because they don't have the, type of, like the sicko bets, if you will, on Bet365 until game day, until the morning of the game. And I'm going with the Arizona first quarter spread of minus 7.5 at plus 100. Arizona needs to win by just more than one touchdown in the first quarter. And I will hopefully be cashing that slip. So let's get a blowout. Let's see some points early.
Was that
like
get on it? Was that like a promo?
No.
I feel like you've finessed or gamed our friends over at Bet365 there. That feels like a mistake.
And in fact, I parlayed Alabama minus 7.5 with Arizona minus 7.5, both first quarter spreads. Alabama playing UL Monroe and just juiced it up a little bit. And I'm ready to go. I also have Arizona to win the third quarter by a touchdown and for 13.5 points to be scored in the third quarter, also as part of a nice little juicy parlay. But I got all types of action going. But mostly, let's just get a fast start from the Wildcats tonight, and let's put it on.
Let's do it. And you talked about your bets. Let's talk about mine. All mine are finished. All mine are – the results are in. I went 2-1 on my bets this week. I'll start with my third and second best. I had Baylor at plus 2.5. Miraculously, somehow, they not only cover, but they win the damn game.
Yeah.
I think that – and I was talking to you about this pre-show, Damon. I was always destined to go 2-1 because I felt like Iowa State at minus 3.5, which is my second best bet I had, should have covered for me. I feel like they should have won that game by at least like 4 or 5 points, 6 points in that range. But they do not cover. They win by only a field goal. But Baylor saved my bacon and got me back to 1-1. And then the Mizzou game.
Yeah, one tough loss and one like kind of like backdoor win for you there. So it kind of evens itself out.
And then Mizzou, M-I-Z-Z-O-U, wins the rivalry matchup in a game where Kansas, and I guess we can parlay this a little bit into our Big 12 talk, because Kansas, absolute disaster class after the first quarter. They played the first quarter as if they were the best team in the country, it looked like. They were just on fire. Jalen Daniels was slinging the ball around, throwing it about 1,000 miles per hour right into the hands of his guys. And then the team that is Mizzou, all of a sudden was on top of Kansas for the majority of the rest of that game. Kansas tried to bring it back at the very end, but came up short. Jalen Daniels, unfortunate interception to end the game. A big drop by Alabama transfer Emmanuel Henderson as well at the end of that one for Kansas. So overall, heartbreak for the Jayhawks. But my bet slip does cash, and we go 2-1 on the day. So I'm happy about it. I'm also definitely going to get on that spread thanks to this weather delay. So
yeah, absolutely. Not too shabby there, Kevin. I'm 1-1. I'm already chalking up that UCLA L. And we'll be waiting on the Arizona Wildcats to see if I can turn it into another winning week here. Let's keep this streak going. Let's just go winning weeks all season long. But Kevin, we do have some other Big 12 scores to talk about here as part of kind of this betting conversation. You mentioned the Baylor W. They come back down 2 touchdowns against SMU, a pretty solid SMU team, I will say. And they tie it. Then they win in OT. Here's what I'll say about Baylor, and as one of the leaders of Baylor will win this conference mountain throughout the offseason. Baylor's offense is really freaking good. And Sawyer Robertson is playing like the best quarterback in this conference. I tweeted
in the country.
I tweeted that Jalen Daniels was, but that kind of fell off of a cliff as we got into the second half of that game today. Sawyer Robertson is genuinely playing like the best quarterback in the conference, in the country, you name it. He looks unbelievable. And that being said, what the hell is going on with Dave Aranda's defense? Because they are trash.
Really bad.
They're trash.
Really bad.
So I think that limits Baylor's ceiling. Like you're not going to win the conference championship if you have that porous of a defense. Something to monitor from a Baylor perspective for sure. Iowa State gets the win over Iowa in what's always a really tough game. You got hooked there, Kevin. Unfortunate. You deserve the W. But Iowa State, another quality win for them, right? And They probably will continue to be the number one team in our power rankings. that we do on Tuesday. Kansas, unfortunate. You choked. You look decent at times. I still think that they're probably one of the better teams in the conference when it's all said and done. I do think that this is a little bit of levels being shown here, Kevin, in terms of like maybe the SEC just is that much better than the Big 12. And it's sad to say because I want to be I want to be the first guy in the Army leading the troops into battle, being like the Big 12 is underrated and we're getting disrespected. But when you have teams like Baylor and like Kansas playing against the bottom feeders of the SEC and you're losing consistently, it's showing you something. You see it here with ASU as well. Another team, bottom feeder SEC team, playing one of the favorites in the Big 12. I will say ASU has the ball back. They're only down in possession now. Things are looking up for them. They might win this game. In fact, they probably will win this game, but not all that encouraging of a showing for the Big 12 conference in general, I wouldn't say.
I'm sure that if they do win, that they'll ask to get moved up in the rankings on kind of the comeback.
Yes.
That they put themselves in the hole.
How is this team not top 10 after that one?
After that comeback that they made themselves have to come out of? No. They got to go up.
Oklahoma State, embarrassing. Might be time to disband the football program. Definitely time for Mike Gundy to go. And I'm licking my chops for that Arizona-Oklahoma State game later this season.
Whew.
Texas Tech gets the dub against a horrific Kent State team, perhaps one of the worst teams in the entire conference. Just kind of rounding things out here, How
about them Utes?
Utah continues to look pretty solid. Army has the ball back, Kevin, and they are on Kansas State's 20-yard line with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, down 4, 29-17. Army has a chance to win this thing against Kansas State. And man, is Avery Johnson just the biggest embarrassment in all of college football. You, of course, have Houston handling business versus Rice, UCF 40-0 against North Carolina A&T. Stanford and BYU yet to kick off along with Arizona. West Virginia lost. I forgot about that one. That's another one. West Virginia lost to Ohio. That's a brutal loss. Ohio's quarterback throws 3 picks in that game too, and they still lose to Ohio. Unbelievable loss. Colorado, things were close against Delaware for a second there. It was 10-7 in the first quarter. End up winning 31-7. Cincinnati, this game was kind of similar to ASU's against NAU where it was never really in doubt. They win 34-20, but Cincinnati let Bowling Green kind of get back into that one a little bit late. And then, Utah dominates Cal Poly. Those are your Big 12 updates for the week. Business as usual. No really that crazy wins. Nothing all that impressive outside of maybe Baylor and their comeback victory. And then we'll see what happens with Arizona State. Could be an epic choke from Kansas State and yet another brutal loss. Yeah,
and we do have another weather update as well. Damon, they are lifting the re-entry policy, which not good because that means they're letting you leave.
That's bad.
They're saying get out, go hang out at wherever you live nearby, go have a drink, come back, whatever you need to do. We'll let you come back in after you already scanned your ticket. Not good. Espo responded to one of my tweets saying 1 a.m. postgame, and it's looking like that might be the case, Damon. But that is your weather update. If you are there at the stadium, you can leave. You can leave and come back.
Yeah, that is somewhat of a bad sign for sure, Kevin, because if they're encouraging people to leave, that means that they are nowhere close to starting this game. But, Kevin and I are here for the long run. We're going to be giving you post-game coverage 10 to 15 minutes after the clock hits 0 in that football game, no matter what happens, Kevin. We'll do this post-game show at 3 in the freaking morning if we have to.
Of course.
Because that's how much we freaking love it. Max says Kansas screwed him over in his parlay that he would have won $400 on. Brutal, Max. That's absolutely brutal. Let me see. Who are my bad beats of the day? Who made me feel a little bit? I had a one definitely pretty tough one. Oh yeah, it was Cincinnati. Cincinnati's up. They're up 21-3 on Bowling Green at halftime, Kevin, and I took them to cover 27.5, up 18 points at half. And they only cover 14. And I had put them in basically every parlay, and all those parlays are looking pretty fire right now, except for that. So, we'll be looking at some potential bad beat type of or like no bet list type of teams here. Nothing yet, though. Nothing yet from a bad bets perspective.
Yeah, and then should we do our score predictions and then get up out of here so that we can start doing, learning our weather reporting. So when we come on the post game, we can be like, as you see, at about 7:30 p.m., the surge moved up north. But yeah, should we do our score predictions, Damon?
Let's do our instead of our weather forecast. How about our game prediction forecast, Kevin? Because we're both going with huge blowouts. You got 52-10. I got 54-7. Nothing really. I don't have much in the way of analysis on this one. I'm giving Weber State like a garbage time score. I think Arizona just consistently puts it on them, and this is what it looks like when you score on about 80% of your possessions. So I expect Arizona to be very efficient, get the job done, cover the spread, and dominate.
I do as well. 52-10 is what I had in there, Damon. And I think that the only reason I had Weber State scoring a touchdown in this one, I wanted to leave them to literally just the field goals on that side of things. But I saw this stat that the Wildcats last week, it was the first time winning by 30 and not allowing a touchdown to an FBS opponent since 2010. And so I do feel like, the odds of shutting teams out is just slightly lower than maybe I'm giving them credit for, even though Weber State is worse than Hawaii by quite a substantial margin. I just feel like,
it's hard to shut a team out.
Exactly. And it's hard to shut a team out, and it's hard to not allow touchdowns in back-to-back weeks, nonetheless shut a team out. So I think Weber State probably finds the end zone somehow, but not much beyond that. Blowout.
Everybody, please drop your score prediction here in our chat. Like this video if you haven't done so already. For your boys, giving you a nice little weather forecast here on a football Saturday, college football Saturday. The Arizona Wildcats take on the Weber State Wildcats here shortly, hopefully. We'll see here in terms of weather stuff. This was your premier Arizona Wildcats pregame show. He is Kevin Thomas. You can follow him at Kevo Post. That's KEVOPOSTS. I am Damon Dog. You can follow me at Damon DAWG. And we are the AZ Wildcats podcast. You can follow us at PHNX_Wildcats on all socials, except for TikTok, where you can follow us at AZ Wildcats Pod. Sonoran guy, what an absolute prediction out of you.
Historic.
96-0. That's the type of stuff I used to be doing back in the day when I was like 7 years old, playing Madden on the easiest mode possible, playing like a CFL team with like my all-star team I concocted.
I literally 2 nights ago put up 90 points as Arizona against Wyoming.
That's not even fun anymore for me, Kevin.
Like, it just happened.
I'm an adult now.
It just happened. No, it was a part of the season. The result is the result.
I wake up in the morning, I put my big boy pants on, and I start adulting. You want to still live in your little childlike wonder fantasy world. Please do so.
Luke Weissong won the Heisman. I'm good in my world. My world's fun. Sunshine and rainbows.
There it is. Luke Weissong's winning the Heisman, and Kevin's putting up 90 points in football games. But like I said, drop your rumors here rumors.
You can drop rumors in the chat as well, I guess.
Let's gossip. Also, drop your score predictions here in the chat. I don't even know what was in my head there. We're going to be doing some deep dives. We got to do some investigative work on this weather, see how we can get this game started. But in the meantime, stay tuned for our post-game show, 10 to 15 after the clock hits 0. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow Kevin, follow me, and we will catch you on the post-game show. Until next time, peace out, bear down.
And go Cats, blow them out!
We all silly like the mayor.